So let's look a little bit at the timeline, how Russell Brand got to where he is now. If you remember, Brand was accused of sexual assault, which a lot of us chalked up to, and I would still chalk it up to, they wanted to silence him. Whether that's not taking a position on whether the claims are true or not, I don't know, but I would say there are a lot of people who don't get these. Bill Clinton appears on stage at the DNC, so it really depends on what ideological lane you're in. Now, I know this was about 2 years ago because I remember being in India hearing Russell Brand giving his response to these accusations on his show. So it was just about 2 years ago. Now, even with these accusations, for quite a while, he was doing some pretty good content on Palestine. He had Gabor Mate on, talking about the occupation. He had Chris Hedges on. The United States is vetoing resolutions in the UN for a ceasefire. This is utter insanity. It's not in anyone's interest in the United States to do this. Chris Hedges outlines the dire state in Gaza and what he calls the death of diplomacy. And here, we'll look a little bit at this video. This is as recently as April. He did a little bit about the New York Times' standards around this.
How the New York Times control the narrative around unpopular wars. The Times memo instructs its journalists to avoid using the terms genocide, ethnic cleansing, and refugee camps when writing about Palestine. Going to be a short article. It directs them to steer clear of referring to areas of Palestine as occupied territory, and even further discourages referring to Palestine as Palestine. Okay, so here's
Okay, so we don't know what videos they might have pulled out of the Diddler's house, but I believe this was actually, as far as I could tell, this was September 28th, which was the day of the Rage Against the War Machine rally and the day before his appearance at Rescue the Republic with Harvey Two-Face.
New voluntary unity, not imposed top-down unity, Lord. Lord, I ask that we be brought together in these principles under your name. I pray for America, and if I have your permission, ladies and gentlemen, we'll end with the Lord's Prayer. Just do the version that you know. Our Father, who art...
All right, so you get the idea. So all of a sudden, between April and September, he finds Jesus, begins reciting the Lord's Prayer with Jordan Two-Face there, doing their whole Batman villain thing. Quite a decline. And now, this is recently, December 12th, Russell Brand spends 10 minutes explaining the serious situation, but not once does he mention Israel. And now, his transformation is complete. Russell Brand and Rabbi Shmuley partying down.
Come on, Rabbi Shmuley. What the hell? Russell Brand has made me laugh. He's giving me joy. But I love that he's Bobby's buddy. I love Bobby Kennedy. We all love Bobby. God bless you. Praise the Lord. God bless you.
I think that was a Nazi
salute
that Brand gave there.
Yeah, careful with the hand.
Is that
there.
a Nazi salute? Careful there, Russell. Careful.
But I love that
Careful,
he's
my
Bobby's
namesake.
buddy. I love Bobby Kennedy. We all love Bobby. Praise the Lord.
There it goes. Zig Hill. There it goes. So that is quite a sad decline. Of course, we have no way of knowing, but it seems like between the initial accusation, which would have been early 2023, I believe, and September 2024, when Rescue the Republic was held, they found some videos and showed them down. Something happened to this guy because he continued to speak about Palestine after the initial accusations. Something happened after April. He goes through this, what I consider a bullshit conversion. Around the same time, starts, just selling, grifting crap, 5G necklaces and amulets and all kinds of stuff. And now here he is fully embracing Rabbi Shmuley. Now, I have no way of knowing. I'm not saying this is absolutely positively true. Seems to me this guy got blackmailed.
I mean, there's no way of knowing, obviously. I think, when we started really realizing a shift in Russell Brand. And, understand, I think I could speak for Russell too. I really, really admired Russell Brand. Like, I really thought he
Yes.
was one of the most powerful,
One of the best.
and intelligent and articulate voices for left politics, for anti-war politics, for anti-imperialist politics, for free speech politics. Like, I was a huge fan of his. And I started noticing his emphasis on issues just really shift pretty rapidly. And I searched out Gaza material from him because I was really looking forward to hearing him speak out about this when this all started, going down in this accelerated and horrific way, starting in October of 2023. I didn't see that footage that you just showed until today when you found it. He hasn't tweeted about this at all. You search his Twitter feed for Israel, Palestine, Gaza, nothing comes up. And, if nothing came up and we saw the Shmuley video, it would be really bad. The fact that we do have him on the record since October 7th calling this a genocide makes this photo op with Shmuley even worse, because it shows that, you haven't just turned a blind eye to this. You have paid enough attention to know that this is a genocide. And now you're going to fucking yuck it up with this guy on camera. Why? Because Bobby Kennedy's your mutual friend. You're that hooked into that ecosystem that you have to go out of your way to fucking take a picture with this guy and put it out there that you're friends with this. Like, you really have to that publicly associate with Rabbi Shmuley because of your RFK thing. Like, come on, man. You're on, like, it makes it worse that you were on record essentially calling this a genocide.
Sure. Well, having dug into it now, I didn't really dig into it. I chalked it up to, well, the sex allegations they made against him now, like so many before him, like Brett Weinstein. He went full into that ecosystem, both for his economic benefit and for protection from the liberal class and powerful elements within it. Now that I dug into it and I see that he did actually put on Mate, he interviewed Norm Finkelstein. He had Finkelstein on. So now, as I dug into this, I said, all right, something happened. They got some blackmail on that cat. There is no way that this is natural. I'll say this. There is not, and I don't buy that it's just business, because he was doing fine business. He was doing fine. He had a big audience. He was one of the biggest. Like, he didn't need to go full MAGA to have an audience. He didn't need to shut out the Israel conversation, because you gain audience that way. You lose at least as much audience by taking the turn he had, especially given the lane he was in as a podcaster. There was no real upside to taking this turn on Israel specifically. So my theory, I have no proof of this. My theory is they showed him a tape or something, and he got his mind right, man. I don't think it's just the grift. I think he got threatened somehow.
Well, who would know more about this, perhaps, is Whitney Webb.
We should ask her.
We should ask her on Twitter, and then if she replies with anything but exactly we want to hear, we should rage tweet at her for 9 hours nonstop and tell her that we're very upset that she did not back our theory. I think
don't you blackpill me.
Don't you blackpill me. Don't you be a naysayer. Don't you make me feel bad.
No, but look, man, I mean, the longer you're in this space, the more you really delve into these things, the more you realize your most batshit audience members were right all along. Yes, the intelligence agencies are running psyops on the American public. Yes, a lot of the cultural discourse that seems inscrutable, impossible, and unlikely is actually doing exactly what it's intended to do: divide people, keep them fighting, keep them out from underfoot of the people who are actually running things. And yes, a lot of these public figures who do an about face like that, they're being blackmailed. They're being blackmailed by the intelligence services. I think that's certainly something that our friend Whitney would agree with, if not with personal knowledge of Brand specifically.
Yeah, well, there you go. Perhaps we'll find out someday.
Please clap.